Barcelona isn't just a football club. It's a language spoken in stadiums across the world. It's a set of beliefs passed from one generation to the next. At its peak, Barcelona didn't just win trophies, it taught the world how football should be played. But this wasn't built by money, or luck, or one superstar. It was built by an idea that made Barcelona bigger than football. Barcelona was never meant to be just a football team. Long before the trophies, before the superstars, before the stadium lights turned Camp Nou into a global stage, Barcelona was an idea. Founded in 1899, the club emerged in a city that saw itself as different, culturally, politically, and socially, from the rest of Spain. Catalonia had its own language, its own traditions, and for many, football became the safest way to express that identity. As Spain moved through political instability and dictatorship, Barcelona became something rare, a voice.
We are a territory with a strong national personality. We need our independence.
Hay mucha más gente que somos españoles y queremos pertenecer a España.
When other institutions were silenced, the club remained visible. When Catalan symbols were restricted, the stadium became a place where identity could still be felt, even if it couldn't be spoken out loud. That's why Barcelona's motto matters. Més que un club. More than a club. It wasn't marketing, it was a declaration. Winning mattered, but representation mattered more. Every match wasn't just about points. It was about presence, about existing, about being seen. And slowly, something powerful began to happen. People didn't support Barcelona because they were dominant. Barcelona became dominant because people believed in what they stood for. This belief shaped everything. How the club recruited players, how it treated youth development, how it valued style over survival. While others chased results, Barcelona chased meaning. And that choice, made decades before global television, social media, or modern branding, would eventually turn a regional club into a symbol recognized around the world. But belief alone doesn't build a football empire. To grow beyond Catalonia, to challenge giants, to change the game itself, Barcelona needed more than identity. It needed a philosophy, and that philosophy would arrive from the outside. The late 1980s were turbulent for Barcelona. The club had identity, yes, but identity alone could not compete with the financial muscle or star power of other European giants. Results were inconsistent, trophies rare, and expectations heavy. The world still saw Barcelona as a talented team, but not a footballing powerhouse. Then, in 1988, Johan Cruyff arrived. A man who had already changed football with Ajax and the Netherlands. A visionary, obsessed not with winning at all costs, but with winning beautifully. From the first day, Cruyff's approach was clear. Football must be possession-based, intelligent, and expressive. Every player, every pass, every movement mattered. Success came not from outspending rivals, but from thinking differently. This was more than tactics, it was philosophy. Cruyff instilled discipline, creativity, and most importantly, belief in a system. Players weren't just individuals, they were pieces of a greater puzzle. The way they moved, pressed, and passed became a language. A language that said, "We play our way, and no one else's. The results were immediate. Barcelona began dominating La Liga. Trophies arrived, and with them, credibility. But it wasn't just the victories that mattered. It was the style. The football world started to take notice. They weren't just winning. They were changing how football could be played. During this period, Cruyff also planted seeds for the future. La Masia, the youth academy, became central. Local talent was nurtured, trained to fit the system, to think, move, and play as Barcelona. This philosophy would not only produce legendary players like Pep Guardiola, Xavi, and Iniesta years later, it would also make the club globally recognizable, a team whose identity was inseparable from its style. By the early 1990s, Barcelona was no longer just a Catalan symbol. It was a footballing experiment that worked. And in 1992, when Cruyff's dream team lifted the first European Cup in club history, the message was clear. Barcelona could dominate, inspire, and innovate, all at the same time. But dominance comes with scrutiny. Every revolutionary idea faces resistance. Critics questioned Cruyff's methods. Some called it risky. Some said style without substance would fail. Yet the foundations were laid. The DNA of modern Barcelona: possession, youth development, identity, beauty, was born. And this wasn't just the start of a team's dominance. It was the blueprint for a global empire. By the mid-2000s, Barcelona was already a force. Cruyff's philosophy had been fully implanted. La Masia churned out talent, and the club played the beautiful game like no other. But the world was about to meet the player who would take it to a level no one could have predicted: Lionel Messi. At just 17, Messi made his first appearance for Barcelona's senior team. Small, quiet, almost unassuming, but with feet that seemed to bend reality itself. The club, which had always been defined by philosophy, now had a figure who could embody it perfectly. Every dribble, every pass, every goal became a lesson in what Barcelona stood for: intelligence, creativity, and unrelenting excellence. Under Pep Guardiola, who took the reins in 2008, the club didn't just play football, it redefined it. Possession became near perfect. Pressing became an art form. Goals weren't just scored, they were engineered through movement, timing, and vision. The team won trophy after trophy, including 2 historic trebles. They became so dominant, so beautiful to watch, that fans didn't just cheer, they marveled. Even opponents were forced to admire the system. But the impact wasn't limited to trophies. This was the era when Barcelona truly became bigger than football. Television broadcasts, social media, and the internet spread the club's image across continents. Children in Asia practiced tiki-taka drills in streets and parks. Fans in Africa and the Americas wore the red and blue stripes as a symbol of artistry and ambition. Messi wasn't just a player. He was a global ambassador of the club's identity. The combination of homegrown talent, Cruyff's philosophy, and Messi's genius turned Barcelona into a cultural movement. A movement that transcended sport. But there was a cost. With global fame came scrutiny. With success came pressure. Every match became a stage. Every player measured against impossible standards. The world watched, expecting the spectacle to continue, and expecting perfection. Yet, for a decade, Barcelona managed to deliver. They became the team everyone wanted to see, the team everyone wanted to emulate, and the team everyone loved to hate. And in doing so, the club didn't just dominate Europe. It built the largest fan base in football history, became one of the most followed sports teams on the planet, and cemented its place as a symbol of beauty, philosophy, and ambition. But even empires face challenges. As Messi reached the peak of his career, financial pressures, rising wages, and global expectations began to weigh heavily. The question was no longer if Barcelona could win trophies. It was whether they could sustain their empire in a world where money, politics, and fame collide. And that question would define the next era of the club. By 2020, Barcelona had reached heights few clubs could dream of. Messi was a global icon. Guardiola's legacy still shaped every pass, every movement. The stadium roared with fans from every corner of the globe. Barcelona wasn't just a club, it was a phenomenon. But empires are fragile. Years of financial mismanagement had built an invisible weight. Wages soared. Transfers became risky gambles. For all its philosophy and brilliance, the club had entered a world dominated by money and politics. Then the unthinkable happened. Lionel Messi, the heart of the club for over a decade, could no longer stay. The wages were too high. The debt was too heavy. A contract that once seemed eternal was torn apart by economics. Fans wept. The media exploded. Barcelona, the symbol of beauty and philosophy, had to let its greatest player go. And it wasn't just Messi. The club struggled on the pitch. Champions League dreams slipped through their fingers. La Liga dominance wavered. New signings failed to fill the void. The carefully built system, the philosophy, was under threat. The fall wasn't sudden. It was decades in the making. A reliance on star power over youth. Overspending on transfers pressure to maintain global dominance at all costs. All these cracks were now visible. The empire that had taught the world how football should be played was facing its harshest lesson. Even ideals need balance, and ambition has a price. Yet even in decline, Barcelona's identity remained. Fans still filled Camp Nou. La Masia still produced talent. The philosophy still existed, quietly, like embers beneath ashes. Because empires that endure do so not just through glory, but through resilience. And resilience would lead to the next chapter. Even after the fall, Barcelona refused to vanish. The stadium still roared. La Masia still produced talent. The philosophy that had guided Cruyff, Guardiola and Messi remained. A blueprint, waiting to be reborn. Young stars like Pedri, Xavi and Ansu Fati emerged, carrying the weight of history on their shoulders. They weren't just players. They were the next chapter of a story that began over a century ago. Off the pitch, the club embraced a new kind of growth. Social media campaigns, global digital outreach, and international fan engagement became part of the strategy. Barcelona wasn't just rebuilding a team, it was rebuilding a brand, a culture, a global movement. The challenges were immense. Financial constraints limited transfers. Rivals were stronger than ever. But the essence of the club remained unchanged. Identity over instant success. Philosophy over shortcuts. The world watched, expecting failure. But Barcelona reminded everyone that giants aren't defined by one era alone. They are defined by their ability to rise again. In stadiums across the globe, fans still chant the same anthem, wave in the same colors. And even in the digital age, new generations discover Barcelona not just as a football club, but as a symbol of ambition, of resilience, of beauty. Barcelona's story is far from over. Its legacy is no longer just trophies or titles. It's the idea that football can be more than just a game. And in that sense, Barcelona truly is bigger than football.